Game 4, you need to be properly doing your homework and make this tier list of champions. What is the most OP? Because it's a little bit more difficult to navigate right now because you need to find these archetype of team comps that fit well your win conditions.
And I'm so surprised already that Fnatic decided to go for the Sivir, because there was one champion in my head. I'm thinking like, Sivir, you want to first pick Sivir. Alistar's out, Jarvan is out, so many of the other carries are out. But they banned it instead, which makes me think they want to first pick maybe another ADC.
Yeah, like a Jinx or an Aphelios is what I'm thinking. When I think about hyper carries, I think of Upset and Mikyx on the fresh Aphelios or the fresh Jinx. I would love to see that for them, because Engage is fleeting. There aren't that many strong Engage champions left in the game. Mikyx being banned out, one of them. It's only like Leona right now that are kind of still up and available, but they're hovering and looks to lock in the Varus, which is a champion that Upset has had middling success with, and it's not really fitting his playstyle.
Varus is not really the greatest of champions when you think about it, but now we're in Game 4. All the other OPs before him are out, so this is the time when it starts to shine. But I do wonder if this was the correct choice when you have the likes of Maokai, because as you said it, Finn, when you don't have Engage, you need to find Engage in different roles, and Maokai would have made your team comp work so much well. But my god, is that the Sion? How did Sion get from blue side? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I mean, now the problem is that this Varus is going to be forced to go on it, and you really need to win that early laning phase to get a lot of value out of this pick. And I don't doubt that Upset and Mikyx can do it, but with how Elyoya has been playing and how good he's been at shutting them down, it's hard for me to see it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a Ryze lock-in. Game 1, they banned Cassio to set this Ryze up, but it seems they don't even care about it. They just pick the Ryze. They want that split push threat. They want the side laning, those ults to go into the team fights. And I really want to see how he uses this ability, because once again, we see Jojopyun playing kind of a facilitating carry. Wardle is a little bit more in his court this time on the Ryze, but he still has to make use of those moves.
Now, it's especially important that blue side does find the correct answers to this, because when you have Sion and Ryze picked in so early, the Trundle is already a great pick, takes away the mobility from the Ryze and locks down the Sion.
I love Cassio. I really love Cassio. I'd love to see Cassio here. You touched on it, Finn. I'm sorry I had to interrupt you. I just really want Cassio. Please don't go some really low damage champion like Galio. You need a high DPS.
So you're okay, you're okay.
Yeah, okay, but they need some high
Cassio
DPS
or Hwei is the winner for me.
I just feel like Cassio, you have more survivability.
Finally!
But Hwei, after the buff.
Finally, the Hwei is here after the buff. It was such a huge buff, and I expected to see a lot more from this champion in this weekend, but I'm finally happy to see it here because it plays so well into the Fnatic's team comp. They don't even need to go on hit anymore on the Varus. They can double down on this range advantage they have. Neutral objective setup is just so much easier when you have this sort of zone of control with the Hwei, with the Trundle, and the Varus.
To me, this was a flawless tier 3. The Trundle pick is absolutely crucial, because now suddenly Supa has the second think. Does he want to go in the immobile hypercarry? Because suddenly there might be a Trundle pillar that's blocking your escape path. So he goes for the Ezreal to kind of keep himself a little bit more safe in these fights. But I wonder, I feel like they really wanted some more damage from the bottom position with that Sion, with that Ryze. The Jinx would be nice, but the Trundle kind of denies that. And the way, as you say, so beautiful pick. They're starting to ban the Cho'Gath, and it seems like they want to put Oscarinin on something that's a little bit more volatile, not one of those tank champions that can just go even, scaling.
I mean, both team comps kind of have low damage to tanks. Ezreal, Ryze, as the game progresses, will kind of struggle with that, so it makes sense that they want to try to target that out. I wouldn't mind seeing Oscar go for more of a bruiser, try to play more side lane and outscale in that sense. He's had decent success on it, but if he could get a free tank, I wouldn't mind that either.
I think the big necessity that Fnatic really has right now, and they need to fill it out in the draft, is a big frontliner, because even though one might say that Cho'Gath ban is useless, why would you ban a Cho'Gath into a Sion? You're banning frontliners, you're banning these sorts of champions that walk in to provide space for your carries, because on the other side, maybe MKOI's draft is not really, as spicy as Fnatic is, but they already take out so many checkmarks to make a good team comp.
Yeah, and we saw in Game 2, Oscar had a great game on the Ornn, and it really seems to be working for Fnatic when he's able to group up with his team and create space and take all that deep vision. So I really like what you're saying, Odom, there. Right now I'm looking at things like Renekton, Gnar, but it doesn't feel great to pick here. And
is there some cool top lane tank pick that they could bring out here that's like,
I mean, you could go Shen into Sion, it's a pretty good matchup, but you don't have a great Shen carrier. My eyes are on the Leona right now for Mikyx, because it's like the only good engaged champion left in the game that can kind of fill that criteria for beefy boy.
I think Mikyx needs to take this burden of responsibility when it comes to the front line, and it also will play into the red side advantage of having support counter pick on 5, because a lot of this power into neutralizing the Varus will come from Alvaro potentially picking on 5 here, when you get to see the fact that Mikyx at least needs needs to pick a melee champion to make space. And even if he doesn't, then maybe, yeah, the bot lane is a little bit hard. But when it comes to team fighting later on in the game, it's a lot easier for MKOI.
And it's Naafiri for Elyoya here. We saw Razork on it yesterday, had a stellar game. And I remember Elyoya previously in spring was also really, really good on this Naafiri. Has incredibly good snowballing, but does take a little bit to get going. And especially if then Fnatic can get that front line, get that CC, can make it really hard for this Naafiri.
Yeah. And the Leona's been Poppy top into Sion. It's not a great matchup into Sion, but it does fill that role that is so desperately needed. Maybe she can walk up and find some of those keepers verdict in these teamfights, kind of zone out the team comp of MKOI.
You remember, Poppy is one of Oscar's one tricks, because when he came into the league, the Poppy was his main pick. He would always find a lot of crazy plays and have the most impact on the champion. So even though it's not the greatest, it still plays into Fnatic's
Okay,
team
but
comp.
be honest, is it not the worst Poppy game you've ever seen? There's no dashes.
It's fine, you don't care. You just rock up to an objective, you spin your hammer above the head, and then you just knock someone away.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Fnatic win.
But you know what I don't like?
Maokai!
No! Why?
I mean, we've seen this pick time and time again when people desperately want to engage, and it hasn't really found the success. Maybe Alvaro knows something we don't with his Maokai and can make it work a little bit better. He doesn't need to be main engaged because he does have that big sign to walk up together with.
I've put all my cards on Fnatic and I'm doubling down. It's a Fnatic win. They got the Poppy. They
Get ready to dance, buddy.
Is it a Trundle top?
Wait.
It might
Wait
end up
a minute.
in the Trundle
Does it
top.
change? Does it change?
It changes a lot.
It changes a lot because all of a sudden this Trundle is a split pushing machine. You have a lot more proactivity on the top lane. You can even play for the dive. There's just so many more things that you can do.
I'm smelling the game 5.
I love this
smelling
Trundle rotation flex. I think that's genius. Picking that into the side makes it so hard for Sion to find any ult. He'll constant side pressure, and it's going to be great for Fnatic.
Ah, amazing. We think we're getting the silver scrapes. Des, do you feel the same?
We're sitting here vibing because not only do we want a game 5, but because us as casters, we thrive in these moments. It's not just about these two teams that are sitting in the up echelon of our league. It's about the crowd, the environment that have gone nuts so far. Actually, both Fnatic and MKOI. Surprisingly, there's still so much support. But enough about that. Let's get into game 4. Let's see if this draft works out, because MKOI, this time around, the draft ain't coming from Alvaro. The engage, rather. I feel like a lot of the drafts have been hinging on how he starts fights, and MKOI basing themselves around that.
But I think it's a lot of the creativity coming through from Fnatic, right? Bringing the Trundle out, you kind of expect to go in towards the jungle. That's where we preliminary seen it over the last few weeks, and instead they end up sending towards the top side. And I think it's a fantastic switch up. The fact you get this matchup into the tank, you get to steal those stats. If you're ever left alone with the tower, you can essentially just take that turret underneath Sion's face as well.
Hang on.
Minions in the arena.
Somebody get that!
Last hit them.
Holy crap, how much? It's like 25 gold right there, 23. Oh my, wait, there's more of them.
And the gold prices the way they are, you really need to get onto that.
Yeah, where the range crit? What is that wave? Yo, Lux, get out of the conga line. What is that Lux doing?
Look, I hate mid laners like this, blocking the path into the minions,
True.
trying to make sure they
so
like,
crazy.
mess it up level 1. It's just
Banned for that, actually, I think. Wait, we just
My question is, where are the other minions, okay?
Yeah, well, we got...
This is a long lane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously on the other side of the arena, right?
Right,
So they have to meet in the middle.
Oh my god, is this just that whole segment? This is that whole early game, watching minions around early game. I mean, this is what we look at in League of Legends daily anyway. Okay, so that's happening. Welcome back. Now, while this is going on, I just can't cast this game. I just can't cast this game.
Look, already Fnatic taking a little bit of an unfavorable trade on the bottom side, Hobie as well. So I think at the moment, it's going to be a case of Fnatic again kind of playing in the early stages to just try and sit back, relax. Like, eventually Upset will be able to just out-push Supa in this bottom side. Hobie will begin to outrange Jojopyun, will be in a decent spot. And already it's Fnatic just trying to play full range and let Oscarinin be that split pusher in the side lane.
Vedius, if you got anything?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I have so many thoughts.
Completely distracted.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like taking
My
that away
first
was
thought
important.
is Elyoya once again looking for an early gank.
Yep. And he's going to find an easy angle, isn't he? Oscarinin has done the damage, but to find a kill here is going to be hard. The chomp onto a minion instead. He's dead. Tries to deal with the wave. First blood to the dog.
And quite frankly, that is just a very basic mistake to make. Early on, if you have an advantage and your jungler is pathing away from you, you have to be way more respectful of the enemy jungle. We've seen Elyoya do these types of clears before, clearing one half of his camps, immediately going for a level 3 gank, and he's doing the exact same thing. Now, the good news for Fnatic is Razork's able to steal away the blue buff.
The Zenith Blade cleanse comes out, arrow misses from upset, but Mikyx quite low, pops a pot, and Supa gets away with simply a cleanse.
Still though, Elyoya is on this bottom side after the reset. Double longsword, they may be looking for the fight, and with Mickey somewhat low, and there's no wards, that could be it.
Look towards mid, Poby, good chain as well, gets the combo, and after the claws, low minion help Varus. We look towards the engaging bot. Cleanse comes out, there, Razork now shows himself onto Alvaro, he's in death's grasp, but Mickey dies first. Flush away, Upset's gonna die too. Razork couldn't finish the kill, and under turret, close to being a third. This early game is a disaster for Fnatic. And meanwhile, the lightning doesn't hit from afar, and Elyoya's going in deep. This back from Razork. It's going to be delayed a little bit by Razork. Takes his jungle. Oscarinin, I believe, took a turret shot top. Fnatic are crumbling.
Fnatic thought that they had read Elyoya. They thought that they would be able to get the outplay, but he just decimated them. He melted through Mickey like he was paper. He turned his attention onto Upset, and Razork could do nothing but watch as Elyoya secures himself a 2-0-1 scoreline, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game.
And now you've got MKOI who are looking for the swap as well, sending their bot lane topside, which means that Oscarinin is already in a bit of a bad spot because he just TP'd back to the top lane. We'll actually let Myrwn go boss, but here we go in mid.
Elyoya just waiting for time. Poby has no mana either, and he's not going to get speared out. Lucky.
But look at the way the lanes are now set up. So Oscarinin has just reset. He now needs to walk all the way bot. A massive wave has just been pushed in as Razork.
I mean, Razork, he's going to put up the steadfast presence, but Alvaro follows regardless. This Maokai, we were like, how's the engage going to work? So far for MKOI, really good. Alvaro, even on the EU tree, is styling this series.
But Elyoya and Alvaro were the duo that we talked so much about in game 1. And now they're working together once again, stealing away camps from Razork. And it all kind of cascades from that first play in top side. Elyoya converting that first kill into an immediate bot side gank, now just putting constant pressure onto the enemy jungle. It's Fnatic that's playing catch up as MKOI is running away with the early game.
And in the last game, it was Fnatic who were making these plays, being the aggressors, but it was MKOI who were able to turn it around. This time, it's MKOI finding success in these plays and top of the lead. Jungle and AD carry with a near 600 gold lead each. It is disastrous in this early game.
Now, I would be remiss not to mention Game 4, the last time that these two teams met. A Kiana in the hands of Elyoya was decimating the early game in MKOI's favor. But as the game went on, Fnatic continued to find good fights and scaled their way back, bringing us to a Game 5. I'm not going to count Fnatic out just yet because I do like what their composition brings to the table. The scaling on this way, the fact that Oscar in the side lane is going to be very difficult for this Sion to deal with.
But decimating smash and ulti, melee range, Myrwn! He doesn't even try for that solo kill.
But this was the moment where it's supposed to start to turn. You hit the level 6 and you can find the play. But Oscarinin hits 6, doesn't hit the orb button, and Myrwn slaps him with the hammer and ends up taking that kill.
This would be a scream FF, I'm just saying it now. Like, this game is so dominant early. And guys, you know, I feel like MKOI just have fate on their side. In series, it just seems like in front of their home crowd, this team levels up.
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the year, we had the road trip to Madrid. In this matchup, we had that incredibly epic Game 3, the fabled Lichbane not being bought by Humanoid as he's at the Nexus. And it could have gone Fnatic's way, but KOI end up clutching up the series. MKOI lead the series with match point, and now with a 2k gold lead, 7.5 minutes in.
Oh, engage, a pinch. Mickey's coming in as well. Steadfast presence, true shot barrage. Alvaro, though, does so much work. Mickey kites away. There's going to be a realm war for Jojo to get his support out, and only him. Everyone up around Grubs, 20 seconds, and a lot was just burnt.
Jojo still has no flash, and Fnatic still hovering around this mid. The ward will spot out that Mickey's in the area.
Dude, Oscar's doing no damage to this Sion. Myrwn is just chilling This is like the dream Sion game, where you just get the farm and get free grass stacks.
I mean, an early Bramble Vest is doing some serious work.
Wait.
Myrwn, his ultimate still on cooldown.
Thank you, Vedi. I couldn't see from here, and I was a bit worried it was going to happen again.
I mean, if he just hits him with a minion...
Or a decimating smash.
Yeah,
Could be dead.
This matchup not going the way that Oscarinin envisioned, I imagine.
Or a lot of people, I guess.
Well, kind of the matchups across the board not really going their way, right? The only one who seems to be working is Poby, who is getting some good work done with Supa now.
Trouble waiting again for the poke to come out. The flash from Mickey behind his support. Beautiful flash. Mickey clutch at being the body in the way, and Supa came close to averting expectations. The spike comes in meanwhile. The fight continues over at the Grubs, and Razork has done good work. It was actually MKOI to get the Grubs in the end, but Razork's bought time. The ulti out, avoided by Elyoya. Now a fresh target. Mickey with the Zenith Blade. One goes down, it's Alvaro. A trade as Elyoya gets over the wall. He then reignites onto Mickey with his ulti. Dodges the hail of arrows. One Dark and Dagger out. A second, and almost gets the trade. But then Jojo fixes the deal. A double kill over as Poby runs his way out, and Grubs will stay standing after the fight goes awry.
MKOI expected upset to reset because of how low he'd gone, but doesn't actually back off. It means he can come into the fight a little bit later and help out his team in securing at least something back for themselves in that regard, but MKOI still pushing and fighting back.
My goodness. Remember that this play sort of started with Upset and Supa going toe-to-toe in the top lane. Supa came crazy close to getting that kill back onto Upset. But then, as you highlighted, Mickey being the bodyguard helps his AD carry get out of that sticky situation. Grub's still alive, one secured by KOI, of course, but that objective's still a point of contention for both these teams with the Dragon poised and ready to be taken as well. A very tense affair we find ourselves in. What felt like a stranglehold from KOI quickly loosens as... Let's look back at this 1v2.
Yeah, you can see Supa, great timing on the cleanse here to keep his auto attacks up, but just not quite able to get the damage as Mickey's able to body block one of the Mystic shots, and then Razork goes in, gets the spite, I believe, on towards the Void Grub. But here, like, Poby gets so much work done. Gets the play onto Alvaro, then sets up for the ult, which actually spreads on towards Elyoya and does a lot of work. But because Upset doesn't reset on that top side, he's able to come in onto this play and work with Mickey then to finish off Elyoya alongside Poby. It could have been a lot more dire if Upset hadn't come to play.
Glad you brought up Poby. Shut down for his Hwei as well. The Hwei that we seldom see. I mean, it's only been seen once before, and with these changes that have come through, it does feel like Poby's a good study case for here today.
Important to remember that Jojo got a double kill off the back of that as well. So both mid laners kind of being set up as the carries here in game 4. Of course, when you look at the scoreboard at the bottom of your screen, it's Elyoya that's kind of stealing the show given how effective his early game has been. And
spiraling despair. Realm Warp, hang on. Jojo, he's out. He's gone.
A solo kill for Poby. As we were just discussing, the two mid laners, Poby gets the better of him, finds the outplay, and just builds himself his own lead.
And it may not have netted himself that big CS lead or, you know, some of that experience lead, but he has been getting the better of Jojo in these trades all game long. And finally, we see Poby now picking off Jojo, getting some much needed life back into Fnatic. As Oscarinin looking for some trades, but again, definitely not getting the better of them.
He's better now. At least life still is giving him a little bit more to hold on to. As Myrwn, you're right. Just no damage being inflicted.
The thing is, though, for Fnatic, if Poby can get a lead, that immediately just becomes a win condition. Fnatic want to play at range. They want to try and force MKOI to run into them, where you can have Oscarinin steal away all these resistances from Myrwn, make him very squishy, and it's difficult for Alvaro and Myrwn to try and provide those engage tools because they have to try and go for these long-range run-in plays to make it work, and you're running into all this free fire from Fnatic and all this CC as well. So if Fnatic can play through them, that could be it.
Severing Bolt doesn't connect. The Fear doesn't either. So a bit of a whiff. Mickey does launch an ulti, and meanwhile Elyoya is getting Dragon. So for MKOI, this is a good position. Despite them losing out of the solo kill. Oscar nice interrupt. Myrwn gets the ulti though, and in melee range, Oscar's still in trouble. Decimating Smash dodged away, but Here comes the dive. Elyoya's going to send it in. The Naafiri forces the flash, and that might be enough. Myrwn's able to tank up and get out alive as well as Poppy. Keep his verdict. Sets up something for top lane. Fnatic have a chance. Good spear. Jojo the target again, but Razork was rooted and disrupted. That dive looked bogus in the end.
Poby choosing to do the QE rather than just the QQ, and or even just getting out the lightning bolt.
QW, the severing
I felt like
bolts,
there was so much more damage that he had access to, and I mean, Jojo did exactly what he needed to. He rooted Razork underneath the tower, made it easy for him to get away. There was no point in Razork even flashing because he wouldn't have gotten out of the tower's range in time. Questionable place there by Poby as Jojo just gets something back, and just like that, KOI find themselves with the same gold lead that they had earlier.
Jojo's got 3 kills. We're complimenting the 2 before, even after the solo kill. Jojo, he's up in gold, and still, look, it's the effects of this early game that for Movistar KOI went so well, bounced back a little bit for Fnatic, but these leads still have impact. And I see 500 towards bot, I see 680, 700 in jungle for a Naafiri. Oscar's getting some gold back now, but as Myrwn clears the wave, it's simply going to be that. One turret shot's going to lead into something else with Grasp as well. Myrwn doesn't have the ulti available. Myrwn is just going to know that Oscar, as he takes the wave, could be in trouble if another decimating smash is there, but the pillar's in the way. At least running away this time, and with Ravenous, he's okay.
And that's what we'll eventually see this just turn into, right? Is that Myrwn doesn't have the damage to get through him, and Oscar can just take these towers in front of his face. You saw how quickly he got through one of those plates, and then with the Demolish took a second. And even though Oscarinin is behind quite substantially, he's still going to be a major threat on these side lanes. And I think that's where MKOI need to find a way to set Jojo up against Oscarinin, because maybe you have something then.
He had flash, didn't get away. Spiraling Despair as well, the combination. Jojo close to dying again, but once more he is the ruse. Razork going to bring him in to keep his verdict. Gets Doldy, but with a block, Razork says no to the dog. Elyoya would have killed Mikyx, and luckily Razork was there to save the play.
Beautiful interrupt from Razork. You can see the value of the Poppy as Poby's forced to flash away from the ulti of Myrwn. That's 4 members on the top side as both AD carries meet in mid. Now Oscar on the bot side of the map. This is the very scary thing about Myrwn TPing away.
In trouble, waiting for that W once again. Elyoya can't dive in. As you said, Oscar's getting time with the turret, so a plus for Fnatic. But there is a Herald up in this top lane. MKOI have control, thanks to the Sion, thanks to what mid's going to become with Supa getting the wave clear and able to step up with his jungle nearby. I thought it would be started. In fact, it's Razork that starts it instead. Elyoya is going towards bot.
I mean, I think that the fact that KOI committed so many members, Oscar, I think he's going to die.
He is just going to run in, subjugate into Jojo. Good damage here, running out of mana, but Chop doesn't cost much. Now going to take on Elyoya, but it's just a little bit too far. A close call. Jojo kill number 4, and Herald going to be taken for Razork in the meantime.
So that brief interaction is a great demonstration of how scary this Trundle can be. His dueling ability is something that you can't really afford to trifle with. And if he had been level 11, having that second point in his ultimate, I wonder how different that could have been. He had to use his W earlier as well, making it easier for him to get kited. But it's just a great example of what Dagda was saying earlier. On the side lane, Oscar, he's definitely not down and out of this game just yet. The Merc Treads pick up for him as well. A big purchase, especially into this Ryze.
I think it's also, as you say, like, the second you leave Myrwn out of that lane, it just really goes sideways. So I think this is where, again, as we start to see a minute until this next dragon, how do MKOI try and get Myrwn out of this top side? And this is why I was talking about Jojo needs to be the one to face up against Oscarinin. At least he can join in a lot of these fights late. He's actually the one with the TP as well. And I think if MKOI don't have that frontliner, you don't have someone that really wants to set up for Elyoya or be the one to face check a lot of these areas.
40 seconds till Dragon. It's going to become real important right about now. Soul Flare thrown out on a whim again, but this time it gets a flash from Alvaro. Remember again, we talked about the engage. Comes from Sion, comes from Maokai. There are combos for MKOI. It seems easier than Fnatic's last game draft, but Fnatic have the easier tools this time around. And while they don't have the gold lead, it does feel like harder for MKOI to face check, especially with that flash gone, with some abilities down like the Realm Warp. Let's see how the approach looks here, as in 15 seconds, that Dragon's up.
Yeah, Fnatic want to try and play this very slowly. Every step that MKOI take to try and get into River, hit them with some spells, hit them with the arrows, try and force them back, make them work for every inch that they manage to take. It'll be Rift Town first, just to plunk down in the mid.
Recharge, okay. 1300 the lead. Herald gets angry, but Shelly goes bye-bye. Now, Elyoya moving into position. Mickey Zenith Blade just out of range. A W just in case from Elyoya as the pack mates increase.
The game is becoming more tense. Oh, that's a TP.
They are committing. They're saying, forget the Drake. Let's go kill Oscarinin again. This is just like the Yorick game. Kill him once, kill him twice, kill him a third time. Hell, let's make it 4. Oscarinin must die.
They're doing everything in their power to limit his impact in the game. As gold continues to be invested into Myrwn, a top tower is going to be secured for MKOI as well. They know they don't need to contest this dragon. It's a small victory for Fnatic as KOI continues to run the reins on this game. An objective will fall in their favor as Jojo continues to get stronger. 5-1-0 now, the MKOI mid lane.
Jojo's terrifying. He is a big old Ryze, and Mickey trying to see if he can get on to him, but...
All flare dodge, Jojo, fancy feet. This guy, obviously been watching a bit of MJ before the show as, again, steps away. Look, man, I know, I've seen bad as well, and Jojo, he playing damn good with it. Mickey gets poked out, MKOI get full control of topside after that turret falls with it.
MKOI now getting control over mid as well, and that's really the important part here. Realm Warp available for Jojo if they really want to overextend on towards mid. Razork shifting over to cover Upset underneath this tower and make sure that he can actually farm successfully.
Anacon's going to be spawning in 45 seconds, but I don't think either team is immediately going to want to try and force that one down. This mid tower should be the focus for KOI as they continue to play through their side lanes. It's kind of been the story of the series for Jojo specifically in how he has been controlling those sides and just keeping pressure up. Farm in a very good spot. The Rod of Ages continuing to stack up, and Fnatic thinking about what options they can go for. That top tower, there's possibilities for a play, but KOI setting up this deep vision makes it that much harder for them. So really, Fnatic need to reclaim control their side of the map. They need to clear out what vision they can. Instead, Mickey's just going super deep, and he's fishing for Jojo.
Just sending it again. This is why Mickey on engage looks a lot better. Exhaust out, then the play, not match. Shield of Daybreak for the flash, but there's no follow-up. Mickey goes deep, gets nothing.
He flash queued, didn't ult, and then left.
I think they're a bit worried about the collapse from MKOI, but Alvaro has no hope.
Okay, well, he lost his flash before, so this one's a lot better, gents. Fnatic get a kill finally after Mickey's been trying his damn hardest. Razork was here before. That was not a good look. Jojo, he's just attracted. He's rage baiting.
Fnatic still aren't sure what they want to do, though. Is it a dive or is it go towards the Anaconda? They're trying to cover on mid as well. And now maybe they turn towards it, but they're not actually able to get much on the top.
It's a scary thing to start.
Subjugate. Oh, Myrwn switching.
Oh, here we go.
Finally, we might actually see a 1v1 go right for Oscarinin and Myrwn. Won it before, but with Subjugate down, so much trouble. Myrwn has to ulti out. It can't be covered by Oscar. He had no flash.
2 levels down, 0-4. Oscar just confirmed, okay, I win now.
Be Trundle.
Yeah, he is just going to shred through those resistances. The ultimate does so much work for the man in the top lane. And Oscar now regains control over the side lane. That doesn't diminish what Myrwn will bring to the team fights. But in that 1v1, Myrwn has to be a lot more careful.
But you can see that Trundle ultimate almost halfway off cooldown as well. So it's such a short cooldown, you can just continue to do this, get the pressure, but Upset,
he's deep. And Supa has everything. Chains of Corruption has to be used. Mickey here to cover as well. Elyoya had ulti. And if Upset didn't, he would die.
Ulti used from Upset. I was concerned it wouldn't be available for the Dragon, but still a minute 45 away. Artican hasn't really been the focus for either side as that top wave continues to be pushed in. We're seeing Fnatic continue to play around this side of the map just because it's the easiest objective to play for right now, threatening those dives onto Jojo, but he's weathered that storm beautifully. The tower's still relatively healthy, and MKOI's still in a comfortable spot.
I did think at this stage, though, with the Dragon in a minute 20, they would swap Oscarinin into this top side and be like, okay, we want you to look for that tower as we look for the trade, but I think they're still scared of MKOI potentially rushing down the Anaconda if they overinvest on towards this bottom side. So Fnatic kind of stuck on how to get the value out of this Trundle right now.
I think also something you mentioned earlier was how MKOI want Jojo into Oscar, and it's something that Fnatic deliberately want to avoid. So as long as they keep the Ryze out of that Trundle lane, Oscar will continue to come back into the game. But here we are, objective started, TP available for Oscar.
They don't do this quick though, Vedi.
No, they don't.
They really don't. Upset his lethality. Poby is cycle-based.
That's what they wanted, though. They wanted that TP from Myrwn. So now it gets easier to start to play at the map. They can easily look to escape. MKOI weren't really in a position, and Oscarinin had already started walking towards his top side. Myrwn looking to keep it leashed for the moment. I think he'll drop that in a second. But now they've got ways to play on both sides with Oscarinin's TP.
It's going to be a Fnatic rush against Fnatic. The irony would be there. Razork not going to willing to face check. No one stepping out into River. Alvaro probably affirms suspicions with the sapling thrown out. MKOI still here, clearing vision now. In River there is a little bit more. Myrwn spotted out first, and Jojo's getting pushed in top. 5 members of MKOI are in this top lane with Realm or Razork. That's mega ambitious, but he kites around. He really wants his Grom, but he will not be disappointed.
MKOI are going to start up this Atacon. They need to try and get Trundle out of the bot side. He will rip through structures.
He will.
He does not need an awful lot of time. It's Jojo's reset. Great interrupt from Poby to buy Oscarinin the time he needs.
Okay, again, and the poke from Poby to add in as well. Atacon is going to debuff MKOI. Teleport from Oscarinin. 1-for-1 for the TPs now eventually with this objective, but they're hitting it away. Keeps the verdict. Beautiful. Doesn't hold Atacon. Solar Flare onto Jojo and top. Then it's played as well. The pinch together from Poby. The range fantastic. The Maokai ulti. Not too much done. The pillar forces the flash. And meanwhile Fnatic are healthy. Upset kills Alvaro. Treebeard is down at 3k, 2k. Elyoya getting sent away. No steal. And the yoink from Fnatic was freaking damn clean. Pillar out again. Decimating smash. Razork. Sneaky, sneaky. He's not going to get caught out.
Jojo sneaky, sneaky. Look at the mid lane. Jojo is just pushing through, looking for the tower. So keeping the pressure up. Fnatic need to back away, and MKOI don't want to let them.
Razork in the end, not acquired. Mikyx low, baiting in. Razork getting hit away against the wall. Steadfast presence. Elyoya flushes out. Look at the blinking health bars. Supa wants to kill, but he has no true shot barrage. Upset loses himself the shield. As you said, Jojo's going to get a turret out of it, but Atacon for Fnatic is still a breath of fresh air.
My goodness, a crazy sequence from both sides as Fnatic, with great coordination, navigate their way through a complex Atacon fight. KOI is forced to scatter as the Trundle arrives and creates chaos in the midst of the pit.
Yeah.
A beautiful ultimate is going to start this one off from Razork, connecting onto 2, and already KOI is in an awkward spot. Alvaro throws out an early ultimate to try and protect his mid and top, but Elyoya joins the fight far too late. The ultimate isn't going to connect from upset. Elyoya can't really contribute much to the fight, and Alvaro falls, forcing KOI to retreat. But Jojo does so much work on the map following this fight, turning his attention towards the mid tower, putting pressure down onto the dragon, and they even secured that objective as well. KOI still hold on to the gold lead for now.
And it's really well played from Fnatic to play around Oscarinin, but great headspace from Jojo to realize this fight is done. I need to make value elsewhere. And you can see in that fight as well, if Oscarinin presses Aura Myrwn does not survive. And that is basically what Fnatic are looking for, as a lot of members of MKOI here. But sheer aura from Oscarinin sends them away.
Everyone's converging top because Baron's now up. And this game feels like it's on a whim. This one is very close. There's a lot of stats now for Fnatic, thanks to Atacon. Also note, Hullbreaker picked up for Oscar, and when we're talking about his side laning, left alone for a while with his TP up, that's dangerous. As Alvaro, speaking of danger, presents himself next to a wall, waiting for the pillar. He will not escape. Realm Warp in vain. Upset picks up the kill, and Fnatic have numbers.
They're trying to keep it going. Elyoya going to try and redirect himself to the bot side with the rest of his squad, and Jojo flanks.
Myrwn thinking about an ulti, TP's in at 8k, half the HP, disengaged, Razork misses, Myrwn pops an ulti beautifully, Dennis played in, Mikyx flashes over the wall, it's chaos, Jojo playing on it as well, he's spreading to everyone, Fnatic are throwing round Baron, Fnatic are throwing round Baron, it's 3k, it's leash, it's free, and Fnatic just lost their chances at game 5 around a freaking Baron.
MKOI disassemble Fnatic around the Baron. Razork's ultimate was made nullified thanks to Myrwn's ulti. And even with a man down, Alvaro getting picked off is what incentivizes Fnatic to start this objective. The TP comes through, but KOI are attacking on multiple fronts. Jojo chipping away at the HP bars. Beautiful use of the ulti from Myrwn. Mikyx goes in, is disconnected from the rest of the team, and Fnatic are trapped within the pit, allowing for Jojo, Supa, and Elyoya to wreak havoc.
Fnatic's pick was good, but Jojo was better. Finding all of the players he needed to in the back, getting as much of that AoE damage off as he could, and just with that, MKOI might have found themselves a ticket to finals.
The MRD buff gave that guy, while only 3k, some significant damage. Standing behind the Baron, Supa not to be missed as well. 8,500. This Baron sieges everything, and Fnatic have to find a miracle to recover what was lost. A beautiful fight from Movistar KOI. Once again in their home arena, it just feels like they seem to be inevitable again.
I was worried because they had such a good early game, but things were starting to slip. It felt like Fnatic were finding good fights with the comp that they've drafted. But just like that, they cement themselves, and so much credit needs to be given to this man in the mid lane, Supa, right alongside him, dishing out the damage that his team needs.
Caught out though, Solar Flare, it's a pick, and Jojo taking a while to die though. That means Spiraling Spear doesn't do the damage. It's just what Movistar KOI want. They've snapped on him, Jojo's out, chains miss, and Myrwn is unkillable again. Supa goes over the wall, maybe too far, but who's gonna punish him? Fnatic's base is burning again.
Jojo will not die, and it feels like MKOI will not lose in Madrid as they step forward once more into the base of Fnatic.
11,000 gold, Baron minions in, 2 inhibitors about to be falling. Razork has a target on Elyoya, but Fnatic need to pick, not choose. MKOI have 3 top, 1 in bot. All the base keeps rolling. The longer Fnatic are in with indecision, the worse it's going to get. Upset has a shield. That saves his life from the decimating smash, but triple inhibitor. True shot barrage. Toby doesn't get hit. He doesn't do too much, but the wave clear needed desperately. Upset by himself. Runs into Myrwn, gives him a free smash into the dirt. Myrwn proved this series who the real boss is. A Solar Flare comes through, and Movistar KOI can work their magic on the turret. The Kings of Madrid will not be usurped. They have a date with G2 in the final once again. Our spring champion had the buff in España. Vámonos as once again. G2 be wary. KOI are coming.
KOI will relish in the crowd of Madrid. The hometown heroes will close the series out 3-1. Fnatic showed a lot here in Madrid. They showed the potential and what they're capable of. And while their journey will end here in the LEC, we will still see them again at this year's World Championship alongside KOI, who's eyeing up G2 in the final.
A match that they were able to take in spring, and a match that they will relish the chance to do so once again. MKOI stand in front of the trophy and hope that tomorrow they can lift it once more.
The hometown heroes have the crowd behind them.